Coming up on Carolina Week, will UNC Chapel Hill dorm rooms be secure during the holiday break? And what's being done to protect student property?
And after a big win on Saturday in Kenan Stadium, the Tar Heels found out where they'll be spending their New Year's holiday. Students are making plans to go bowling in Atlanta. Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, I'm Brigida Mack. Thanks for joining us for the December 5th edition of Carolina Week.
And I'm Tim Nelson. We're proud to be bringing you coverage of Carolina news and events. We begin tonight on the gridiron, where life is peachy for the Carolina football team, now heading to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. That has many students changing their New Year's Eve plans to be part of the action. Students are putting in their orders for tickets to the Peach Bowl, which will take place in Atlanta on New Year's Eve. The team received the bowl bid in a spirited presentation on the field following its victory against SMU. Chancellor James Measer and Athletic Director Dick Bedour accepted the invitation from Peach Bowl officials, and students like Jake Failing are ready to go to Atlanta.
Got tickets right when they went on sale Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Got my hotel room, going with a big group of friends. I'm ecstatic. I'm pumped. New Year's Eve in Atlanta, are you kidding me? To order Peach Bowl tickets, call 1-800-722-HEAL or head to the UNC ticket office, which opens at 8 a.m. You can also go to tarheelblue.com and click on Peach Bowl Central.
While many people are busy decorating trees and baking cookies for the holidays, some are doing business. Bad business. Break-ins typically increase during the holiday months, and the UNC Chapel Hill campus is no exception. Carolina Week's Michelle Muscatello joins us now with more on this story. Michelle?
Brigida, imagine returning home after Thanksgiving break and finding your room ransacked and burglarized. Well, that's exactly what nearly a dozen UNC Chapel Hill students found when they came back last week, including sophomore Brian Milliken.
The screen was kind of pried up a little bit, and all the stuff here had been knocked over, and like part of our fans' case is broken because they just kicked them over, and there's dust and stuff everywhere.
Milliken's fourth floor dorm room in Craig Residence Hall had hundreds of dollars worth of items stolen. Part of the mystery is how the burglars got to the fourth floor in the first place. Police still have no suspects. And as shocking as the campus burglaries are, Public Safety Director Jeff McCracken says break-ins aren't uncommon.
People know the schedule the students are on, and criminals are always looking for opportunities to take advantage of folks. And when they know that large numbers of students are going to be gone and their residents are going to be unoccupied for several weeks, they try to take advantage of that. And occasionally we have a break-in here and there.
The multiple break-ins over Thanksgiving, 5 dorm rooms on South Campus, have UNC police stepping up security measures for winter break. McCracken says they'll have more officers on duty patrolling campus dorms by car and by foot. For Brian Milliken, the damage has already been done.
You feel like immediately violated, that people have gone through your stuff and like your clothes and everything, like back of your closet, like all the stuff. One of my checkbooks was taken, like, I mean, everything. Like it's just kind of shocking. You don't feel like safe anymore.
Police also suggest students take home valuable items and make sure their windows and doors are locked and blinds are closed.
Michelle, did police suggest anything for students like those flying home who have to leave their valuables behind?
Yes, police say students should copy the serial numbers on their appliances and electronics. That way, if they're stolen, they'll be easier to trace.
Thanks, Michelle.
Attention students flying home this holiday season, Midway Airlines plans to return to the skies by December 19th. The company went bankrupt and stopped service the day after the terrorist attacks. The airline received federal bailout funds to get back in business. Midway will fly 4 737 planes in and out of Raleigh-Durham International Airport. The company plans to hire 250 workers this month.
The sun may be setting on free nighttime parking at UNC Chapel Hill. Right now, parking is free after 5 p.m., but the Transportation and Advisory Committee is talking about changes. The committee is looking at the possibility of controlling parking lots at night, particularly the more popular North Campus lots. One idea being considered is requiring people to purchase a night parking permit. Money raised from the new parking policy would go to offset budget cuts and future parking expansion projects. Students were surveyed and met last week to discuss parking issues. Many voiced concerns about safety. The committee will review the survey responses and opinions heard at the meeting this week. Public safety officials say Carolina is a safe campus and changing the parking policy won't change that. In this week's Speak Out segment, we asked UNC Chapel Hill students, how do you feel about the possibility of paying for night parking?
I drive to campus, and I mean, it's about a 15-minute walk or so for me just to get to campus. And if I'm here like late at night studying in the library or whatever, I honestly don't feel safe as a female walking back to my apartment.
I come on campus a lot after 5 o'clock and need a parking spot, and I'm not really, it's hard enough to get a parking spot as is.
I don't understand why they're going to do this. There's nowhere for us to park, and we all need cars up here. We can't just be stuck on campus. You know, I feel like I'm in a camp basically anyways.
So when I do have my car, and it is like after hours, I should be able to park wherever I want and not have to pay a $30 ticket for parking in a spot which is unmarked and unreserved for any means.
Our sample isn't scientific and shouldn't be taken as a reflection of widespread opinion on campus.
It's almost time for UNC Chapel Hill Chancellor James Measer to make his decision about whether to establish a business school in the Middle Eastern country of Qatar. Now he'll have some extra input as he makes one of the toughest, most controversial decisions he's faced as chancellor. Several recent editorials in local papers agree the world is and will be watching UNC Chapel Hill as the university decides whether to accept the controversial Qatar Business School proposal. Keenan Flagler Business School Dean Bob Sullivan hopes UNC does accept.
We can either be observers of the world or we can participate in the world. This is one of those very unique opportunities where we're being invited to participate.
It's an invitation Chancellor James Measer says he'll accept or decline by the end of the year. And with the calendar running out, some students are hoping their last-minute input will go into his final decision.
I feel like students up to this point really haven't had a huge say in what's going on, so I wanted to educate myself as part of the seminar and also be able to put in a little bit of input to the chancellor. Sophomore Nina Poe and about 25 other students in the recently formed Qatar seminar will have the chance to formally present Measer with their thoughts on the proposal next week.
Students are surfacing questions that need to be asked, and we need to listen to them.
The Qatar seminar's schedule is hectic. 4 two-hour meetings, a 10-page paper, and presentations to the chancellor, all in the weeks right before and during final exams. Still, Student Body Vice President Rudy Kleistuber says the work will be worth it.
We were all very committed to the idea that he have this information in his mind and on his desk before he makes his decision.
And even if the chancellor chooses not to use that information now,
if the decision does go forward, he's also said that he's committed, and we also believe that he's committed to using student feedback and input in the development of the program. And that's maybe where this group will have an especially instrumental role.
For more information about the Qatar proposal and the issues surrounding it, log on to our website at carolinaweek.org.
Terrorism will be an option for academic study next semester. The School of Public Health and Administration is offering a class about terrorism and community preparedness. The class format will be similar to 3 guest lectures about public health and terrorism presented in the school earlier this semester. Weekly guest lectures will focus on the history of terrorism in the United States and discuss possible ways terrorists could hurt the country. The class will end with a guest professor from Israel discussing the challenge of living with terrorism. Students interested in taking this class should go to our website, carolinaweek.org, for more details.
Well, eat, sleep, drink, and study.
Next, we'll be looking at the life of Carolina students during finals week.
Did you know that 1,600 children are infected with HIV worldwide every day? The mission of the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation is to give children a future of hope. The foundation funds pediatric research to ensure that children are at the forefront of every scientific breakthrough. Every child deserves the chance to live a healthy life. Help give a child that chance.
Support the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation.
Try mediation first. Have a conflict you can't resolve? Try mediation. For more information, call the Orange County Dispute Settlement Center.
UNC Chapel Hill has been integrated for 50 years, and members of the Carolina community celebrated those 5 decades of diversity Friday evening. Through music, memories, and powerful speech, the university remembered African American achievement.
Imagine what the university might have been like in those bygone days up to a mere 50 years ago. Could you imagine a lily white University of North Carolina?
Now imagine 5 decades of diversity.
Imagine UNC after 1951, becoming a more vibrant and richer place.
It's just a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the pioneers and the heroes and sheroes that first made this university accessible to us.
But these pioneering blacks don't see themselves as trailblazers.
I wouldn't have come if I couldn't have come as a regular teacher doing everything that other teachers did.
Yet they realized the position they were in to further diversity at Carolina.
I've always felt that when a black gets in a position to do something for other blacks, they should do it.
And today, the commitment to diversity remains the same.
We have these higher callings to articulate what Chapel Hill should be for all the people of this state and for this country.
We have come so far. We have yet so far to go.
The tribute to half a century of black achievement is part of a year-long series to celebrate the history of diversity at the university. The Sonia Haynes Stone Black Cultural Center is getting close to a $9 million fundraising goal, thanks in part to a gift from former Tar Heel turned Carolina Panther, Jimmy Hitchcock. His $150,000 donation will fund a multi-purpose auditorium, the Jimmy Davis Hitchcock Room, to be located on the main floor of the building. In 1993, Hitchcock participated in a sit-in at South Building supporting a freestanding BCC, for which he and 16 other students were arrested.
With the holidays approaching, people may be wondering what they can do to lend a helping hand. Chapel Hill Carrboro Chamber of Commerce held a volunteer fair at University Mall on Saturday to put residents in touch with organizations that need volunteers. Volunteer Orange Coordinator Leslie Holmes-Guida says people are more conscious of the need for volunteering during the holidays, especially this year.
I think ever since, September 11th, people have really been aware of wanting to help other people. I think it sort of helped to get people's minds maybe off themselves and, onto other people. And that's good, and that's what we need, especially around the holidays.
Holmes-Guida adds that help is needed year-round, not just during the holiday season. Volunteer Orange is a service of the Triangle United Way that links volunteers with nonprofit groups. For more information on volunteering, visit our website at carolinaweek.org. Final exams have arrived once again, and Carolina students know the feeling. Carolina Week goes around and about with students who are getting ready for the toughest part of the semester.
I dread finals week.
Stressful.
Hectic.
Overload. Pretty intense.
Malnourishment. Stress. Spend a lot of time in this ye old learning establishment known as Davis Library.
Everything just kind of takes a back seat.
I have a whole lot less sleep.
Procrastinate a whole lot.
A lot of coffee.
So right before exams, I stopped drinking coffee so that during exams it'll work.
Around 3 o'clock in the morning, you see people really like flip out and freak out and start pulling out their hair and like screaming and banging their heads on the table.
Basically, you're just worn out.
Drink a lot of Mountain Dew.
Everybody's just like, yeah, how's it? Good luck, man.
You know you only have to be smart for one more week.
You dream about your exams.
Extended hours at campus libraries will hopefully make the exam period a bit easier. Davis Library will be open 24 hours a day beginning this Sunday. The health sciences and law school libraries are also now open until midnight.
Well, with all the finals coming up, this warm weather is certainly going to provide a great study break.
Kelly, I feel like we ask you this every week, but how long can this cold weather be held off?
Well, midweek temperatures are once again threatening to break records, but there is a front on its way that might change things and bring us back to more seasonable conditions. We'll talk about how that's going to impact the weekend forecast in just a minute. But first, let's break away from this warm weather talk and go to the weather question, which is, what is the average speed of a falling snowflake? Is it 1 mile? Is it half a mile per hour, 1 mile per hour, 5 miles per hour, or 25 miles per hour? I'll have the answer and your weekend forecast coming up just after the break.
It's great that the Salvation Army does so much for the needy during the holiday season.
But you know that isn't all the Salvation Army does. They also run Boys and Girls Clubs.
They also provide relief for those who need it after natural disasters.
And they help the homeless by providing temporary relief and shelter.
They even run summer camp for low-income children.
Need has no season. Please help the Salvation Army help others.
I wonder how Silent Sam feels about guarding the university from groups of third-grade kids. Maybe he's lost interest. We haven't heard his rifle fire recently. Still he stands, a steadfast defender of something. What is it? No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. While temperatures are running about 20 degrees above normal, it may start to feel more like winter over the next few days. But for now, what a great time to head outside to catch up on some reading, whether it's studying for finals or maybe just enjoying some Harry Potter. Outside is a great place to be in this first week of December. And what an abnormal first week it's been. Let's take a look at what we should be expecting for the first week of December. Your average high should be around 53 degrees. That's about 20 degrees lower than the temperatures we've seen this week. The average low sits right at the freezing mark at 32 degrees, and we tend to see about 3.2 inches of precipitation throughout the month. Now, keep in mind, if we want to get that precipitation, we need to double it to get us out of this period of drought, so it's highly unlikely, but we'll keep our eye on it. Now, if all this warm weather has you dreaming of a white Christmas, let's take a look at some locations around the country and your chances of actually seeing one. In Raleigh, there's a 3% chance. Out in Greensboro, there's actually a 10% chance, and in Asheville, there's a 7% chance of seeing snow on the ground on Christmas Day. Now, if your holiday travels take you down towards Miami, Florida, you're headed in the wrong direction. There's the probability of seeing a white Christmas there is 0. Up towards New York, it's 10%. Chicago sees a 40% chance. And if you're headed to anywhere near International Falls, you've got it right on the money. There's a 100% chance of seeing snow on Christmas Day up there. Now, of course, there's no snow in our forecast now, but portions of the country are seeing quite a bit of it. Out towards our west, there's a very strong wintry system dumping lots of snow on parts of the Rockies. And for our weather, here's a front that's going to be impacting our weather coming into this weekend. You can see it right here situated over Texas, but if we take a look at the forecast map, we can see that the center of this low is going to be situated right over Kentucky come Friday morning. Now, there's going to be a bit of precipitation in front of this front, but as it goes through the area, it's going to dry up a bit. And what does this mean for our Carolina Week 4-day forecast? Well, we were hoping for some rain on Friday, but it doesn't look very probable. Instead, we're going to see a high of about about 66 degrees. Things will clear on up for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with highs about 59 degrees on Saturday and in the mid-50s throughout the rest of the weekend and into next week. Now, if your weekend plans include a trip down to the beach to try and relax before finals start, Saturday you'll see a high of about 64 degrees. Sunday sunny as well with a high of 58. And if you're taking a trip out to the mountains instead, highs out there will be about 49 degrees and on Sunday about 44 under partly cloudy skies for the entire weekend. So not necessarily wintry weather headed our way, but definitely a change and a cool down from right now. And before we go on, let's get back to the weather question. Anyone care to guess about the speed of a falling snowflake?
Yeah, I'm going to say a half a mile per hour.
It is. It sounds a little bit slow, but yep, a snowflake falls at just about half of a mile per hour.
All right, thanks a lot, Kelly. Sure. Well, Ben, it was a heck of a weekend to be a Tar Heel fan.
Yes, it is great to see the Tar Heels back on top.
We're going to cover all this week's good news, but first, as we go to break, there's a little bit of bad news. The women's volleyball team did pull an upset in the first round of the NCAA tournament by beating number 24 South Carolina, but the Heels couldn't stop 8th-ranked Pepperdine as they fell in the second round. Carolina Week returns after this.
When you shop in Orange County, your money comes back to you.
Thank you for shopping Orange.
So shop Orange and see what a difference you can make.
It's the second thing.
For the 1.3 million children living with AIDS, we can do more than just learn the facts about HIV. Through Caring for Kids 101, a campus outreach program, college students nationwide are helping to end this deadly disease. Half of all newly infected people are under the age of 24. Your assignment, get involved with Caring for Kids 101.
Every child deserves the chance to live a healthy life. Support the Elizabeth Glazer Pediatric AIDS Foundation.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. When everything is on the line, a herd of wild horses from Texas could ruin everything. Such was the case when the SMU Mustangs came into Kenan Stadium with a 2-game win streak, looking to take the Tar Heels out of bowl contention. Off to Kenan Stadium we go. In the third quarter, the Heels are up 10-7 when Willie Parker jaunts into the end zone, putting the Heels up 16-7 after a missed extra point because of an unsportsmanlike conduct call, and that Coach Bunting was not very happy about. SMU would tack on a late field goal, as does Carolina, but it would be too late for the Mustangs, and SMU gets trampled 19-10. Afterwards, the players were pleased with the end result, a berth in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
We're just happy that we made it. We're not going to look at it as, just happy to be there. We're going to go there and try to win that game.
With its first victory of the season against Georgia Tech, the men's basketball season is hoping to turn things around. The team was pumped up for this one. First half action, Ryan Morrison says, North Carolina raise up, and gets the dunk over 6'8" Robert Brooks. With the foul on the three-point play, Morrison puts the Heels up 35-33, and the game would be tied at 36 at halftime. In the second half, freshman Jawad Williams gets into action with an easy layup, and Carolina finishes the game with 2 seniors and 3 freshmen playing together, and this gamble pays dividends as Melvin Scott scores off the steal, putting the Heels into the lead. Carolina gets its first win of the season, leaving Chapel Hill spinning like a helicopter. It isn't a team that anyone recognizes as a soccer powerhouse, but American University gave Carolina a scare in the third round of the Men's College Cup. The Eagles come to Fetzer Field not intimidated by the larger Tar Heel team and get physical. After 70 minutes of pushing and shoving, Carolina gets a golden opportunity to score with a penalty shot from point-blank range. Mike Gell has his shot blocked, but he'd find redemption 4 minutes into overtime as he turns, shoots, and puts Carolina in the quarterfinals of the College Cup. Senior Danny Jackson thinks this game was the key for the rest of the postseason.
I think today's game was really a turning point. Against Towson, we won 3-0. We went through that game pretty comfortably. And today was a lot more of a fight and a scrap. And it wasn't a pretty game, but we got the result we needed.
The undefeated women's soccer team faces Penn State with a trip to the Women's College Cup semifinals in Dallas on the line. It's the last home game for Jenna Klugel and other Tar Heel seniors, And less than 6 minutes in, Klugel and Alyssa Ramsey set up midfielder Sarah Randolph for Carolina's first goal of the evening. But the Heels have to regroup after a Penn State score. Late in the second, Jordan Walker serves the ball ahead for Ramsey, who collides with Penn State goalie Emily Olsick, and the ball bounces into the back of an empty net to give Carolina the lead and the win. Ramsey is the hero of the day, and the Heels will go dancing for their 20th straight Final Four. While the men's basketball team has struggled at the start of this season, this year's women's team is off to a quick 7-1 start, with their only loss coming to top-ranked Connecticut. The Heels' fast start already has them right on point.
At the point guard position, it's sort of like being the quarterback on a football team. You know, whether you want to be or not, you're the leader.
But this year's football team is led by not one, but two talented quarterbacks. This year's women's basketball team presents an even bigger challenge: 3 starting point guards.
You focus on one of us, somebody else is going to step up.
There's Nikki Teasley, the heralded senior leader and National Player of the Year candidate. Coretta Brown, the junior returning starter and All-ACC player. And Leah Metcalf, the freshman sensation who head coach Sylvia Hatchell says already plays like a senior. But unlike the football quarterbacks, all 3 play at the same time, creating a challenge for the opposition.
You know, when you have 3 point guards on the floor, it kind of makes the defense hard, you know, who to guard, because either one of us can bring the ball up.
And each brings her own strengths to the court.
Well, obviously my height, you know, being a point guard, everybody's not 6'1" at the point guard position.
I think my biggest strength would probably be the driving kick. My quickness and pushing the ball up and down the court, seeing the open person.
Because of their differences in style, they know they're in a unique situation.
No, never been on a team like this before.
And they hope this 3-pronged attack will blend together toward one common goal.
To make it to the Final Four.
Make it to the Final Four.
All the way.
Certainly has been a great year for Carolina.
Thanks, man.
Coming up, Carolina athletes, campus leaders, cliffhangers, and even a Carolina Week member on one stage for charity.
Thanks, Brigida. One raised more than $1,000. We'll tell you how next.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Women had their pick of 24 of Carolina's finest men Thursday night, but at a price. Carolina Week's Regina Willis takes us to a wild dance marathon fundraiser.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave.
If you can't buy love, you could at least buy a man at the date auction Thursday night. Hundreds of screaming girls filled Gotham nightclub to bid on campus celebrities like football player Corey Bailey, CAA President Reed Cheney, and cliffhanger Brendan Ernst. The event was sponsored by Alpha Delta Pi and Kappa Sigma and raised more than $5,000 for the UNC Dance Marathon. Julius Peppers was the most expensive buy at $1,020. Julie McManus shelled out the big bucks, but says Peppers isn't for her.
I was actually a representative of a group of guys who just want to hang out with Julius Peppers. So they all put their money into a big pile, and they had $1,000. And all they want to do is watch football with them one night.
But McManus also bought a guy for herself. $100 for Carolina Week anchor Tim Nelson.
Well, besides being the most eligible bachelor on UNC's campus, he's also a great guy.
We all think so.
And I'm too sexy for this song.
Dateless in Chapel Hill. I'm Regina Willis, Carolina Week.
Well, Tim, it's great to see you using your good looks and charm for a good cause.
I think Julie was just taking pity on me, and I appreciate it.
Well, that's not what I hear.
In any event, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you for joining us, and be sure to watch next week for our special holiday show.
Before we go tonight, we'd like to say goodbye and good luck to our friend and mentor, Dana Rosengard, who will be teaching at the University of Memphis next semester.
Dana, we dedicate this show to you. We'll miss you.